Okay, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Thanks to all of you who joined me on Stampin' Piece VIP group. I'm Mary Knabe from Columbus, Ohio. And if this is your first time here, be sure to take a look at my blog, stampinpiece.com, and as well as my Facebook page, Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe. I also have a YouTube channel, Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe as well. And if you are in need of a demonstrator, you don't currently work with a demonstrator, I'd be happy to earn your business and would also welcome you to my team. As you know, we are in the last month of celebration, so keep that in mind in the back of your head if you want to place an order this month. Celebration items are while supplies last through March 31st, so they could sell out, they could be gone before March 31st, so just make yourself aware of that. Today I'm going to be working with the Welcome Easter stamp set. These three little animals just spoke to me. I just think they're so cute, so darling. And I don't send out a lot of Easter cards, I do sell some, but I love it because it also is great for baby cards. You could also use it for spring birthdays for little ones, that sort of thing. Sunday evenings, Facebook Live on Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe was the Easter Promise, and we did some watercoloring. I also want to point out in here the designer series paper that you'll see me using is from the 6x6 color family packs. There are two colors, Pear Pizzazz and Highland Heather from the Subtle collection, and then I used Flirty Flamingo from the Brights collection. So just so you know where that is, that's page 168 of the annual catalog. So are you ready for some cuteness? There just might be cuteness overload today. Be sure and comment so that I know you're here, and if you have any questions or anything like that, you will have already introduced yourself. Tell us where you're from. I'll make sure we are in a good position here. I'll make this just a wee bit larger and adjust this a bit. Well, hi, Lisa Johnson. Okay, so again, Welcome Easter is our featured stamp set, and here you go. Here is all the cuteness. Look at that cute little chick. And we're doing a sort of fun fold card today. Open up the flap, and it says Happy Easter. And this is just a single card front. Okay, it does measure 5.5 by 4.25, so it's the same as our standard size cards. But then you would write just in the center space here. Okay, and this is a kind of a nice guide here so you know where to write so that your message is hidden when the flap is closed. Here's the second one, this cute little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. I used to get teased with that a lot when I was little, and I didn't always like it. And here is the last one, the Easter Bunny with Highland Heather. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is show you how I cut these flaps, and then I'll show you how I colored the different animals with the Stampin' Blends, and then finally we'll put one together. And as we finish, I'm going to show you two ways that you could step up this card. So what I have here is a 2¼ inch strip by 6 inches. Okay, and it's 6 inches is a little bit long, but that's okay. Because we need to fold it over and have a flap. But what I wanted to show you is how I got this cut. I'm using the tailored tag punch. By the way, if you're watching and you're on Stampin' Scrap with Mary Knabe, you might want to flip over to the VIP group, because that's where I'll be able to see your comments, okay? The comments come through on the group or the page where I am live. So just so you know that. Okay, so there I have that little banner cut end. All I did was slip, I'll do it one more time, slip the end of this right inside here. And I didn't go real far in, just you can see I'm close to that point. I'm just gonna go slightly beyond that point, and you'll be able to tell because there won't be that little hole there. Can you see that okay? And I slide it back in, and then I would punch, okay? Now I'm not going to punch that again because I want to show you that on the other end, remember I said this is a little long, but we need that flap. I took this to 1 1/4 inches and I scored that and then got this flap, okay? So I'm going to set that aside for now, and we're going to do a little bit of coloring, and then I'm going to show you how I put the card together. Get some of these things out of my way. I'll start by coloring this little chick. I'm using Pumpkin Pie Dark, Stampin' Blend. And then I'm going to start with Daffodil Delight Dark. And I'm just going to fill in these feathers and things. Go around the inside of the body. There's probably going to be some shadow under that head or chin, so I'll go in there. Color the feathers on top of his head, and then again go on the inside of the head, just like I did for the body. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to fill him in with the light daffodil Stampin' Blend. I'm going to do the same thing to the body, and you just keep blending along that line until that line kind of fades. Can you see the difference? The line is still pretty evident here, but over here where I colored in and filled in, the line has kind of just blended, disappeared. And remember, after you finish filling in, if there are places you want to go back and accent, you can do that by going back in with your dark Daffodil Delight, okay? Another thing to keep in mind is having the color lifter, because this also allows you to make for some lighter areas. Say, for example, I want to bring some more light to the face, as if the sun is shining from above on his face. I just go in and it takes some of that yellow out, or maybe on his belly here. Okay, can you see where it's lightening up a little bit? Welcome, Michelle. Everybody, please be sure you're commenting. For some reason, I'm not seeing comments. Okay. Now I'm going to color this little lamb, And I went ahead and did the bow because in the first one, I matched it to the Flirty Flamingo. This one I'm going to put on the purple and put the bunny on the Flirty Flamingo just to change it up a little bit. So what I've done is taken the dark Flirty Flamingo and I'm just going to put just a little streak right in the ear, and then I'm going to use the dark smoky slate. I'm going to fill in that nose, and I'm also going to fill in the hooves. Then I'm going to use, actually I'll go a little bit up here too. That blends it. That pink in the ears is almost going to disappear. Just wanted a little tinge of it. Okay. And now what I want to do is go along the inside of the head and body. I'm just doing very thin light strokes, not really a continuous line when I'm doing these little circle parts, curly parts, the fluffy part. Just gives a little more depth to the image. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the little legs here. Okay, I'm also going to go under the chin a wee bit, under that bow. Again, thinking of the light coming down on top. And then just a wee bit around the face. Now remember, this fluffy stuff is going to be hanging over his face, so there will be a little shadow underneath. So get that in there. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do to him. Here's the bunny. You can see how quickly this is going. I'm using Flirty Flamingo Light on the bunny's ears and nose. And I did put a little pink on the pads of his paws or feet. And now I'm going to go in with, I'm primarily just going to use the light smoky slate to fill in the bunny. I don't do an awful lot of blending when I'm working with the smaller images. I am going to outline his face though before I fill it in. How many of you have the Stampin' Blends? And do you love them? Hi Michelle and Kathy, thanks for joining us along with Julie, Mary Lou, and Lisa. I appreciate all you being here with me today. And if you wanted to make some areas darker, you could start by going over parts again a second time with the light shade of smoky slate, like something like that. Or you could even go in with a little bit of the dark smoky slate. Maybe here around, looks like that. Even adding this a little bit can make a big difference. Maybe up here too. Okay, and then if you feel the need to blend those lines in a little bit, just go back in with your light shade of smoky slate. All right, there we have that. Now I am going to punch these out with a 2 1/4 inch circle punch, but before I do that, I'm going to do a little stamping and a little sponging. This is the little grass image. And I'm just going to, and this makes me think then the animals aren't just sitting up in the air. I'm trying to do it on some scrap paper here. Okay, and I went up above the legs because they sit down into the grass, not sitting on top of it. Then I'm going to use a sponge dauber and just very lightly fill in. This is Pear Pizzazz ink I'm using, and I'm going to do the same thing to these other little guys. You could do the coloring and the stamping and the blending after you punch it out. For me, I just think it's easier to do the coloring and such before punching the circle. Don't know why I can't see comments today. How about trying some hearts or thumbs ups? Do those come up? But Facebook is like that. If you were with me on Tuesday evening, was that frustrating. The live video I think went out twice, and the third time I just said we're calling it a day, and it's such a cute, fun-full card. And as I said, Tuesday evening I will be making a video for that card because it's so cute. I want you to be able to do it also, but I haven't gotten to that yet. Have any of you got some Stampin' in today? Or any kind of crafting? I always like to hear what other kinds of crafts people enjoy doing. I used to sew quite a bit when my girls were little. Made them cute little dresses and summer shorts. I sewed a whole bedroom linen set, comforter, drapes, everything. That was kind of fun. Okay, now I'm going to put a little sky in there. A lot of times, excuse me, I use Pool Party for the sky, but today I've chosen to use Balmy Blue. Grab my scrap paper here to work on. And just remember, a little goes a long way. Tap lightly. You can always make it darker, but you can't make it lighter. And you know that you're going to be punching a 2 1/4 inch circle. I know that I'm well around that already. Okay. The sponging you may want to do after you punch it just for that reason. I figure I can make a pretty good estimate based on the ones I already have, the samples I already have for you. Can you see making these not just for Easter cards, but also for perhaps welcome new baby or a baby shower? They'd also be great for birthday celebrations for little ones. I like that our products are versatile and we can use them for many different things and many different occasions. Okay, so I'm all finished coloring and sponging. Now I'm going to cut these out with my 2 1/4 inch circle punch. Cute images to put on your envelopes as well. I have not colored mine, but a tip when you do color your envelopes, because the Stampin' Blends can show through, stick a piece of cardstock or cardboard or something in there when you're coloring the images on your envelopes. Okay, and lastly, we'll punch out this cute bunny. Do you see how that little bit of pink on the pads of the feet makes just a little bit of difference, just a little more detail and a little more depth to the image? Okay, now we're ready to put some cards together. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can step up your card. So it's basically the same as my 3 samples, but we're going to step them up just a wee bit. Now, as you remember, we made a 1 1/4 inch score line. And that score line is so that we can attach this flap to the back of our Whisper White cardstock. Okay. Then I'm going to secure this Whisper White cardstock to the base, which again is just a single layer, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 inches. So it's the finished size is the same as every other card that is also standard size card when it's finished. Okay, now I'm going to add this. And this is where we're going to step up the card in one place. Go right there. Okay, and I'm going to be using the chick here. Now before I do that, I'm going to put adhesive on the back of this. And I have some silver metallic thread. Let's see if I can find the end here. There we go. Silver metallic thread. We sell this in the silver and the rose gold. And I'm just going to wind it around my fingers like that 4 or 5 times, you know, whatever you think. Cut it off, cut the end. And then I'm going to take it like that. Oops, this flipped. And lay it across the back of my circle with the stamped and colored image. Now there's no perfect rhyme or reason. If you want some to stick out, it should be kind of random looking. Okay, welcome Stephanie, I'm glad you're here. And then before I lay it down, we'll pop it up with some dimensionals. So you can see from the back side too, it just laid down however it laid down. I didn't fuss with it. If you want to pull some out longer, just lift them up and arrange them. But I typically just go along with it wherever it falls. And a few dimensionals. Ladies, if you don't mind commenting where you're from, I would love to know. I won't see the comments now for some reason, and they aren't popping up, but I think when I finish and go back, I should be able to see them. Okay, so that's that card. Now I did have a Happy Easter for the inside of each of these. Of course, if you were doing a baby card, you might choose the other sentiment, whatever, okay? You might even pull a sentiment from a different set you have. I want to show you how I cut this piece. This is a 3/4 inch strip, and I'm using that tailored tag punch again to cut off each end to get that banner cut. What I do is like to go where I see my lettering, and then I just pull out slightly. Okay, and that's that. And I really didn't, I had a cut so that you don't see the points from the front side. That's up to you. You can make it a little bit longer or even put it in a different color, perhaps a yellow on here, and make it extend beyond the circle and still have your Happy Easter in the center. Okay, so the one way to step it up is using that metallic thread. After I finish all three, then I will show you another way to step up. And this is just the back side of that same designer series paper. We want the 6x6 papers that are in the color family. Okay, this time I'm going to put the Easter Bunny on the Flirty Flamingo. Again, I'm going to start by adhering that flap that we made to the back of my Whisper White. I want to make sure this is centered before adhering that down. Yep, that looks good, I think. And I just press that flap behind. Once again, just laying it on that card base, that single layer card base. Okay, the only fold we have is on that banner, and don't write the message underneath. I'll put this on. When you're putting this circle on, you want to be aware of where your adhesive is going so that you're not going to edge and it's off of the banner. If that helps, you can put it right on the banner itself. Okay, and then all this adhesive for that wonderful silver metallic thread. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can make bigger loops by just extending your fingers wider, or smaller loops by putting them closer together, or just a few. Sometimes those ends, those tails, get away from me. Just corral them back in and stick them down. Okay. I don't like this end sticking out, so I'm just gonna turn it. Whoops. Whoops. There. Okay, now I'm ready for a few dimensionals. And there's our Easter Bunny card. And on the last one, this cute little lamb, I'm going to put that one on the Highland header. I love these colors for spring. And you know, spring, a lot of times too, we see a lot of the subtle colors, but these still are quite vibrant, quite bright. I do have a challenge to announce today. And it's a really cool, awesome prize. will be the March challenge. It's a metallic thread. Go this direction. Whoops. Can't get that end to stick. So I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, add a few dimensionals. How do you like the cards today? Of course, you could make this card layout with any theme in any stamp set. Any of your favorite colors, cardstock and designer series papers. We have so many beautiful designer series papers. Okay, there. Okay. So here's our stepped up cards with the silver metallic thread. And then here's the other ones that are plain. Another thing you could do here is, see these little flowers and leaves? I think those would be cute to stamp, perhaps in maybe the leaves and flowers in the bottom corner. And then it's got this cute little bumblebee that I think would be cute maybe in the upper left part of the card. Maybe I'll do one of those while we're together. But here's another way to step up this card. I stamped and cut the heads of each of the animals, and I'm going to pop one of those up, each of those up on a dimensional. Just to make it even more fun and interesting. I'm not sure how well you can see the difference on the video. Let me get this on and then I'll take a look. In person, it really is a nice step up. Makes a nice difference. And of course it's easy to line up because you already have a completed one there. Don't forget to use those edges of your dimensional sheets. You want to get the most you can for your money. I think this one needs to be moved just slightly. See if I can do that. Okay. All right, so can you see the difference there? I don't think you can when they're flat on the table. Okay, let's go ahead and step up these three with our little bitty stamps. I'm going to stamp the bumblebee on the left side. Oops, didn't press quite hard enough on that one. Or that one. I was trying not to overload it with ink and I actually went a little bit light. And then I think we'll do the flowers. And I think I'm just going to do a bright yellow, the daffodil. Or actually, I guess I'll stamp them in the black. I'll stamp them in black and then color them in. And I'll color those with my blends. I am using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. That is the recommended ink for the Stampin' Blends to use with the Stampin' Blends so that the black and the color of the blends do not mix. This one I think I'm going to do an orange flower with a yellow center. So you can take your card from basic and add a few extra elements to step it up. My yellow, the end of that is bad. I'm going to do Daffodil Delight petals and a Highland Heather center on these. And on the last one, I think I'll do yellow flowers again. I think a fun fold like this is kind of nice too for a change. It's just something different. It's kind of its own little surprise to somebody who receives it. Cute. I'm going to fill in my little bumblebees up here. I think these would be cute too with having a little Wink of Stella on. Isn't Wink of Stella awesome? Such a simple, inexpensive embellishment, I'll say. Let me find a tiny. And I'm going to stamp the leaves in Pear Pizzazz because that's the green I have been using throughout the cards. I'm not quite sure where to put these. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get some in there. Okay. These cards are just fun and playful. They're bright and cheery. Anybody would love to receive these. You could fill in the leaves if you want, but I think I'll leave mine just like that. And what did I say? Wink of Stella. And maybe I'll just go over the flowers with the wink. Oh yes, love it. Not sure that Wink of Stella shows up real well on the video, but in person it looks gorgeous. Just that subtle shimmer. Maybe I'll even do it to the bumblebee. Yes, I like that. Okay. So the challenge. Who wants to hear about the challenge? Our March Creative Challenge for all the VIPs, whether you're watching right now or watching on replay or you get the information later. I should start putting it in my newsletter too. I think that would be a good way to include more people. But the challenge is going to be to create one of these flap cards. You can use any stamp set, and I prefer Stampin' Up products. It doesn't all have to be Stampin' Up, but the majority of your projects, I would appreciate seeing Stampin' Up products. So Stampin' Up colors, designer series papers, stamp sets, whatever. But it can be absolutely any kind of card that simply has a flap like this on it. Okay, so you can get creative with that flap and present it in different ways. Hint, hint. okay? Or even offset it and have something stamped along here. All right, so get creative. It doesn't have to be exactly the same when you're casing. You're drawing inspiration from this. So the challenge is to do a flap card like this, starting with a 2 1/4 inch by 6 inch rectangle, cutting the end. If you don't have the tailored tag punch, I suggest you get it because I use it all the time for this purpose, and also to make the opposite banner cuts. But if you don't have it, you can cut that, okay? Or perhaps you want a different fancier edge, scalloped or something, but it needs to have one of these flaps. You're going to take a picture of that, and then you're going to post it to Stampin' Piece VIP group in the comments on this post, okay? It should be in the same post as this video. You will have until today's March 5th. Let's just take it up to, I usually do 2 weeks, the 19th. Let's just say through, I don't know, the 20th? Let's see. Let's say through the 20th. From now through, you know, we'll just do the whole month, okay? We'll do the whole month. How about if we do that? That's easy for everybody to remember, and perhaps more people will see the video and want to join in the challenge as well. And then the purpose of posting the photos of all of your different cards is that we all get new ideas, okay? A lot of times I'm looking at your cards, what the things you post or the things you share with me, and I'll notice, oh, that's a great color combination, or I never would have thought to use that stamp for that reason, or I like the layout that person used, that sort of thing. But of course on this one, the layout's pretty much the same since you're casing from this video, and the most important part of the challenge is making that a flap card. Okay, thank you for spending some of your Thursday afternoon with me. I appreciate you. If I can help you with any of your Stampin' Up needs, whether it be you have a question about a product, you want to place an order, or you want to get the best deal Stampin' Up has to offer, I would be happy to talk over the opportunity of Stampin' Up with you, even if you just want it for the discount, or even if just because the starter kit's a great deal. Quite honestly, that's how I started all these years ago. I never intended to do a business of any kind, but for me it's turned out to be a great decision. And on my team, there is no pressure to do all that. The starter kit is truly the best deal Stampin' Up has to offer, and it's even better right now during celebration because in addition to the $125 of product for $99 plus tax, you also get this mini paper trimmer free. You're also going to get this 48-piece pack of Designer Series sampler, paper sampler. Okay. And then on top of these two things free, you're also going to choose another stamp set of your choice, any value. So all that, honestly, the starter kit ends up being about, with these extras, the extra free stamp set, plus these two items, you end up getting about $200 of product for $99 plus tax, and it ships free to you. And then after that, if you want to continue to get a discount on all your future products, you can do that. That's the next step. So consider that. I would love to welcome you to my Mary's Merry Stampers team, and I would be happy to help you with any of your orders or questions about products. Take care, have a great day and a great weekend.